Here at the Galen Center at USC, and Big Ten basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Jeep. Montana State, having won 4 of their last 5, making their 3rd appearance against a Big Ten team already this season. Off to a very slow start. They've already used 2 of their timeouts. We welcome those of you that just watch Oregon.
8 points a game in 17 minutes, 18 minutes, but he's learning too. Like that play there, he wanted to straight line, take his guys. He went into 3 defenders. That's an automatic kick out because somebody's got to be open if there's 3 guys around you.
Part of the deal.
Listen, it's not unique to Wesley Yates. That's for all guards in college basketball, figuring out what the right play is every time to make.
Here he is. He'll fire a 3. And look at that reach from Rashawn Agee, who goes way up to bring down the rebound.
He had his best game of the year last week in Seattle, 15 points.
Well, you just wonder if he had not suffered from back spasms in the shoot-around the day of the Oregon game, would that result have been different?
If he gave him the production in that game that he's done last week and to start this one, probably. Big wants to get into the lane.
Here's Claude. Agee. Agbankolo on him. Spins from the double and scores.
Nice. Good patience there, too, by Agee. Waited to see if the double.
That'll be the last day. Here's Matt Nolan, who came in off the bench for Wesley Yates. You got to check Don McLean's scoring line on finals week. Think any effect?
It's a good. This USC team's got a lot of good, experienced players that can score. And the last game we've referenced in Seattle, and then again tonight, everyone's getting involved.
AG goes flying inside and forces the contact and draws the 3rd team foul on Montana.
He starts watching the scoreboard and takes her foot off the gas. This is
AG again. Claude just tosses it up. AG bails him out and then gets the foul.
2 free throws nonetheless. USC team, because they're just not shooting a lot of threes, and if you're not shooting a lot of threes.
St. Thomas directing traffic now.
Full fronting Agee now.
Nolan. Thomas in rhythm from Slacker, knocks it down.
You don't have to do that a lot, but
there. So this is not a team. This is not an intimidation. This is not anything like that.
I think USC is showing that how capable they can be, especially on the defensive end.
And they go back to Brandon Walker, which was the focus of the first few possessions, and he gets.
What this is supposed to look like, USC, before they get into Big Ten play, or really get into Big Ten play.
They'll play CSUN out of Northridge and Southern before the year is out. Slacker opens it up for AG, who throws it down. Eight minutes remaining here in the first half. St. Thomas scores.
Some of that wheel action.
Walker has slackered on him. Here's Walker forcing his way inside, taking advantage of them.
And Montana State is struggling to score.
And Brandon Walker
to guard against their wings getting into the lane. You have to stop. Don't have to shoot tons of them.
Yeah.
Just make enough of them to keep that defense so that they have to get out there.
Walker. He's the leading scorer with 5 points, and he goes right to the rack to make it 7.
He's good. They're leading.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see if the green light stays on in eternity.
I think Agee's one of those players that if he makes it, okay, you earn another one. But if you miss, let's put that one in the back pocket for next game.
A foul away.
That's what's been impressive. We've been
16 from the floor for Montana State. That's 19%, just under it. As David.
And it was clear at the start of the year, too, Guy, when we were here, They have a lot of good players. So, like, guys are competing for minutes. Like, you got to go out there and perform. You got to defend. You got to rebound. St. Thomas knocks down the mid-range because he's got guys on that bench that want to play, that's still learning the players, even though they've had them. But it's a whole new team. We haven't made that point because we did it early in the season. Yeah. They have one returning player.
Harrison Horner.
Right.
And he has not appeared much. No. He was away from the team for a short period of time.
Guys seem a little more attentive to that area of the game the last few games.
So far, don't look like they're playing the score.
No.
And you know who's not coaching the score? Nice move by Thomas.
St. Thomas every time.
I'm glad.
And I don't know why.
Just for people who maybe haven't watched the Trojans before, it's not St. period Thomas as a last name.
Right.
His first name is Saint.
Right.
It's a great name. You want
a great name.
Stop.
Really?
No. Yeah, I think you got to keep going with it. No question. But
I think he and Claude, are going to have. They don't have a real point guard, but they have guys that can handle the ball and bring it up and initiate offense. And I think St. Thomas and Desmond Claude both can do that. So I think when Claude's out of the game, it's going to default a little bit back to St. Thomas and him.
1-on-1 opportunity for Patrick McMahon. 73% earns the second.
Beating Arizona yesterday, neutral site game in Phoenix.
Both games felt like they stole victory from the teeth of defeat.
Right. That's what they do, though. Mick Cronin talks about toughness a lot, and you can't come back and win games on the road or neutral side if you don't have some toughness to you.
Offensive rebound from Yates after the missed three. And battling inside St. Thomas.
And you would think with the way he plays, that he players that can handle, get into lane. Claude's shot 56 free throws so far this year. So the difference between the two, it's pretty interesting.
They're both creators
right.
for this offense.
I think St. Thomas is more of a facilitator than Claude. Claude's more of a scorer looking for his own than St. Thomas.
Agbong Polo with the bucket. He's had a couple of nice shots for Montana State.
You just wonder if Montana State can really get back into this game without making threes, though. They got to find a way and give USC's defense credit. They have just taken it away.
Josh Cohen with the back. Zephyr.
It's interesting. You can tell Montana State thinks they have shots. Against teams they normally play, they are shots, but not against the size on the perimeter of USC.
Good look off the mark. Good defense by Pope. Here comes Thomas. Oh, that's tough. Abo rebound, Abo rebound, Abo rebound, whistle.
The old Moses Malone had the rebounding.
Yeah.
But Moses Malone used to intentionally miss.
First half action plus a look around the rest of the Big Ten. That's coming up, the State Farm halftime.
Just kidding, Andy.
We had fun with Andy last week.
Yeah, we did.
You saw him both days, Seattle and Eugene.
It's fun having a sideline person.
Tough shot for Garak. From what I saw, you're just continuing the hard time that Robbie's been giving Andy today in the studio. So they got 4 games to cover today. It's a long day. Under a minute remaining here in the first.
Mercifully, they got a 7 p.m. local tip time for the last one.
There's Yates.
See, for him, that is the real next step. He's a driver, slasher, strong kid, can get in the lane. If he can get consistent from behind the three-point line, he becomes really good offensively.
Here's Nolan. And he draws the foul. Good shooters, the three-point percentage doesn't.
Well, like when you evaluate college players to the next level, they will look at your three-point percentage. But if you have a good free throw percentage, they think that you can become a good three-point shooter because you are proficient at the free throw line.
So maybe there's some ceiling for this team.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that number could go up, that 31% from behind the three-point line.
Shot clock is off. Garacki just hit one, can't bank that in. Yates has time. Abo! And it won't go. So after a 51-point first half last week against Washington, Oregon in the Big Ten opener.
If any adjustments from Montana State to try and get some clean looks from behind the line. Go into Walker first.
They made just 2 of 11 threes in the first half, did the Bobcats, and Claude goes right at Jabe Mullins and draws the foul. It's a
back. The defender either has to just let you go and score or they foul you. It's really hard to get vertical. You have to stop your momentum to
get a second start in a row for USC. Had a 7-point first half. St. Thomas led all scorers with 13 for the Trojans, and there is Brandon Walker. He averages 14 points per game. He's got 9.
Matt Logie must think if we establish Walker early, maybe that'll bring some defenders down into the paint and open up some of the perimeter. Found doing both times here to start the second half. I'd like to see Yates shoot that one.
Instead, he goes by Agbonkpolo and scores.
And he can do that. We've talked about it already tonight, but if he's open from 3, he's going to have to attempt those threes moving forward.
McMahon with the bucket. Effective thing they have tonight so far is getting it inside to Brandon Walker.
Yeah, exactly. And USC's length on the perimeter is a problem.
Abo gets fouled on the arm on the three-point attempt by Tyler Patterson. So not a 3 from Abo. Made 2 of 3, but USC is playing really well on offense tonight. They're 56% from the floor for the game and 10 of 13. Make that 11 of 14 from the line.
8 guys scored in the first half for USC.
Feel like it happened all in the first 5 minutes. Cohen commits. Cohen is staying.
Didn't even think about driving that time. Knew he was open, caught it, got his feet down, just missed it.
That's swatted away by Thomas. Possession stays with the Bobcats, and they hit the 3. Tyler Patterson. Now Jabe Mullins. And now back to the big man, Walker. Boy, he's quick. Nice finish.
Mentioned it a couple times in the first half. He's got.
Thomas, nifty.
Are you sure got the.
Add the geographical note so you know what the sun is.
Good strip by Yates.
2-on-1.
Too late. He should have given it up earlier to Abo.
AG. Ball snapping around for the Trojans, and that's the first basket of the night from Matt Nolan from the field. Went to the NCAA tournament. Montana State with.
Bigger than those guys, too.
Well, he said back then he was getting a tan. He was in the sun every day.
You would think that would make you look older later.
You would think. St. Thomas, tough finish inside.
St. Thomas is.
A good contest from Yates. AG, that's tough. And he can't quite get it down, but here is Claude. And he gets fouled.
Pretty good catch by AG. Bigs don't.
I asked him about that photo today. He said he used to practice with the team, and a good team. Musselman is part of what is commonly known as the USD Coaches Mafia.
There's a lot of coaches that have been at USD at some point or another. A lot.
Like Mike Brown and Greg Popovich and Randy Bennett. Already a blowout, right? Montana State had 21 at the break.
But I'll tell you what'll keep these guys engaged, and I said it in the first half, is the competition for minutes with all these guys. But what he does understand, which pro guys understand, change direction. And Claude gets defenders off balance and up on their toes, and then for the most part, now there's at least 2 days in between each conference game.
Which is great if you're, traveling with a team from the Midwest out to LA, and it's going to be warm, and you get an extra day to hang out on the West Coast.
No doubt.
I think we'll see. We started football season. Big Ten fans traveling out west, and I think we'll see it going the other way too with West Coast. You can go to Indiana and Illinois back-to-back games.
Well, I would say this, and I said this from the start. Everyone talks about the travel and how more difficult it's going to be, especially for the 4 West Coast teams. We've got Rashawn Agee down on the other end.
And it's just a little bit of a different animal. And we saw, I think we'll see as time goes on, like Oregon is going to host Illinois on January 2nd.
Can get going. Yeah. We've seen it in the past. I'll be at that Maryland UW game. I'm looking forward to.
Oh, they've announced that as number 3. They might have reassigned a foul earlier because his previous foul was number 3. So it's 3 is the correct number on Agbakpolo now.
Like that decision.
No.
I'll bring it up in transition, contested 3 off the bounce. Most coaches wouldn't like. I would say all coaches wouldn't like that decision.
Walker gets inside and gets fouled. .com.
Well, I wasn't wrong, I guess.
No, you
play through your mistakes, but we got to win games too.
There might be different categories of mistakes.
Yes.
That's stripped away. Wow, St. Thomas. Abo. And now a foul on Shelley. Jeremiah Davis averages over 10 made threes a game. They've made Desmond Claude to toss it in. And Abo wins that jump ball with Jade Mullins. Here's Slacker, who played some good minutes in the first half, back in. Shelley?
Good decision. Was looking to kick it to the corner. Montana State player jumped the passing lane. Knocked down that 14-footer.
Tough assignment here. Walker gets all the way to the rim and gets fouled.
Fouls being called for some reason. Like that Arizona UCLA game had a lot of fouls. Illinois Tennessee had a lot of fouls called. So players need to adjust.
Did that game feel physical to you?
They're physical, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have been fouls. I'm just saying that, like, there's a lot of fouls being called, so there has to be.
He has numbers here. And now Walker finally gets back into play after ending up on the floor on the other end. Claude got clawed on the arm by Jeremiah Davis.
In the lane.
And Claude gets a second. 4 of those losses were on the road, including the opener against Wisconsin. They won.
That just tells you, Guy, how right USC has been the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, you and I both agreed that we thought this would be a good game, and it hasn't been just because USC has been so good.
They started at 27-5. That's how the game started, as Jed Miller scores. And despite it, I think there will be no shortage of teach tape on the defensive end, judging by some of Eric Musselman's reactions. Eric Musselman shouting at his team to run. It creates a look for Shelley. USC just 1 of 7 from 3 in the second half. And now Shelley commits his 3rd foul.
I was saying earlier, Guy, like, okay, what game isn't is a gauntlet?
Harrison Hornery has come. He's chasing the ball right here, wearing 30 in white.
I said this last time we were here, Guy, the Oregon USC game. I'm surprised more teams don't challenge Desmond Claude to shoot. Like, he causes so many problems for the defense. Make him a shooter.
Hornery can't quite save that. It creates an opportunity for Montana State, and then Hornery fouls Jeremiah Davis. Americans name for the women's soccer team. But even arriving for
how there needs to be more balance with that. He was going to be a big part of that. He was 41% last year at Michigan. So him not being out, they can kind of load to Abo, who's the main three-point guy now. But it would have been nice. Slacker was 30-plus a night in high school. He's from my area and watched him play a good amount of times. Oak Park, yeah.
Elohim.
Good lesson for you.
LA geography is we need a few seasons, I think, to get everybody caught up to speed on that. And a foul. Shelley
When you talk about recovery and coming back, is it your shooting hand, shooting wrist to get yourself back to where you were?
And the Oregon loss, two of those coming in Palm Springs. But now the Trojans will win 2 in a row. CSUN, difficult challenge. Kind of what you thought this would be. Coming up next, Bryce Pope strokes the three.
Pope could do that, but you're right. And that's why I mentioned in the first half when talking about the schedule, these games that USC should win, but continue to build off what they've started last week in Seattle.
Even finished the question, and a team that averages over 10.
Can you execute it? The attention to detail to take away the other team's tendencies or what they do well. And USC certainly did that tonight.
Here's Pope, passes up the three, and the flip is good.
This is a great win and everything, but our reward is we get to go back and study more for finals.
That's right. Finals continue. It's a Wednesday to Wednesday final schedule here at SC. So finals started last Wednesday. They'll finish this Wednesday. There's the 5th three of the night for Jeremiah Dott.
I think I heard dead ball technical foul.
Okay. Oh, the push at the end. So not a hook and hold. A shove in the back.
I'm just glad they didn't have to look at it.
Well, this cuts into what was the biggest lead of the night for USC at 31 before those free throws. Jeremiah Davis and Hornery the board. Shot clock is off. Jalen Shelley doesn't see the stop sign from Eric Musselman and scores. Bryce Zephyr.
These guys are playing like there's 15 minutes left in the game.
You only get so many chances, Don. You only get so many games. You only get... And Hornery will dribble it out.
You sure?
And that'll do. Yes, I am positive. He put up the stop sign himself. End to end for the second game in a row, a wire-to-wire dominant performance from USC for their 7th win of the season. We'll be back to wrap it up from LA after this.